Retail sales fell 0.2% in February, dragged down by a drop in sales of building materials, electronics, and groceries. Stocks gained ground today. The Dow was up 329 points. The Nasdaq rose 99 points. You're listening to NPR.
Okay, this is not the Hey Techie show tonight.
Oh, it's not?
No, and don't turn off your radios. It just
Well, what's the show then?
Well,
I thought that's what I'm here for.
no,
Hey, Techies.
it's not. It's not the Hey Techie show tonight.
Oh, is it not? Well, this is news to me, so please share.
Well, being April Fool's Day,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
it's an unnamed show tonight. We're
Unnamed?
not. Yes, we're not.
We got to have a name.
No,
We can't just be this unnamed show from 7 to 9 on Monday night.
That's it.
No,
Tonight,
no.
it's the unnamed, previously named Hey Techie show.
Nah, it's Hey Techies. Don't listen to him. I'm the producer.
Quite assuredly, I'm telling you.
I'm the producer. I call the shots.
Quite assuredly, for us to cover 2 hours tonight, there's no telling what we'll talk about. I'm just being upfront and honest. So if
technology touches our entire
no,
lives,
I know that.
So we can talk about anything and
No,
twist
we
it back
can't.
into tech.
No, I know, and we always do. Well, welcome to the Hey Techie show, and it is April Fool's Day, by the way. And we hope you're all doing well tonight. It is me, Michael, and the Guru tonight. There is a member missing this evening.
We're missing Bruce. We miss you, Bruce.
And we kind of thought he was. Let me go ahead and get a little, get his mic in place.
What is it? We need like a little mannequin stand.
We do, yeah, stand in for Bruce.
Yeah.
Let me get a little of housekeeping out of the way. The Hey Techie show will not have a show next week. We are all out of pocket per se. We apologize for that, but there's just no way around it, and those kind of things. And I'm still trying to recover, so forgive the sniffles. I'm just the sign of, man, the pollen is awful.
Yeah,
and it's always like this from time to time. You know, it's nothing new. I'm not complaining about it, but it's just it's really bad.
One place the pollen was not bad was where I was at last week.
Sure. Rub it in, Guru. Rub it in. Guru, world traveler.
No, I wasn't a world traveler.
Yes, he is.
Just to the
there's nothing wrong with it.
Just to the Caribbean, that's all.
World traveler outside the United States.
Yeah, they used some new technology getting back in with like facial recognition that didn't work too well.
Oh, really?
It slowed down people getting back through customs. But sometimes technology does rear its ugly head and doesn't work quite to plan.
Like they found out today.
Oh yeah,
places.
Oh yeah, we got a headline about that.
Yeah, and we'll get to those in a moment. But if at some point you would like to take over the Hey Techie show, you certainly would have the opportunity today, at least for the subject matter. And that is 256-782-5600. And you can be on, and we'd love to have you. And also questions at heytechieshow.com or heytechieshow.com, and you can see Guru in my very dark face because we still have no lights.
We should sit over here tonight.
I know. I thought about it actually, Guru, but I like this spot, and I like to look at you, and I can see the little light if it goes up on the phone.
We missed the call. It's not the first time.
No, it
unfortunately,
won't be the last either.
If you're interested in a call screener for the show, reach out to us.
I don't know where they'd sit, but
we'll find a place for
you.
them.
Have to stand up. You might get irritated with that.
Yeah. So.
Well, anyway. It's pretty cramped space here, and Guru's not sure about his headsets.
I feel like I'm crackling. I don't know if it's my headset
or
if it's...
I don't hear you crackling in mine.
It must be mine. Yeah. Oh well.
He's crackling, folks.
The show must.
That's
go
a professional term.
Crackling, yeah. It's very technical.
It is. It's very technical. Crackling. Look that up in their technical dictionary.
Maybe it's time for a new pair of headphones.
Well, if you're Google, what do? Well, you shut down services. This week, Inbox by Gmail, URL shortener, and of course Google Plus, all coming to an end. Along with those just announced terminated products, the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. Google's smartphone is no longer sold through its online store, leaving Google with only the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL, which the Pixel 3 now is their cheapest line of phone, starting at $799.
At least it's not a $1,000 phone.
Yeah, well, they got that too.
You want me to go next?
Oh, you got the rest, buddy.
Oh, I thought you had two. Okay,
I apologize today. I do not.
So, this morning, 5 airlines experienced delays this morning due to computer issues. Reports indicate that Delta, United, Southwest, Alaska, and JetBlue all experienced the same outage. You're like, how's that? Well, a spokesperson for Southwest told Gizmodo the outage was caused by, quote, a vendor that services multiple carriers with data used in flight planning, end quote. You're like, what is that? So a statement from the FAA given to CBS News stated that delays were from flight planning weight imbalance program called Aerodata. But this issue was resolved by 8 a.m. Eastern time this morning. So very busy travel day, of course, on Monday. So didn't last too long. But we can get into that more later. There's more details than that. But the last thing here is Apple. They've canceled their AirPower product. So this has been a long-awaited AirPower product was canceled last week. There was a email announcement that went out by Dan Riccio, Apple Senior VP of Hardware Engineering, released a statement last week announcing the canceled product. His statement said that the product was canceled because AirPower will not achieve Apple's high standards. AirPower was first announced in September 2017, and the AirPower charging mat was to deliver a means to wirelessly charge an iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods at the same time. Apple said, sorry, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Psych. That's not an April Fool's joke.
No, they canceled the product before it actually ever got to anyone's desk.
Right, because they announced that in an event in September of 17, as I just said. And, that's very, very unlike Apple. Usually if they try to preview something, that means they pretty much got it figured out. But apparently they've ran into some technical issues. And I do commend them for not pushing it out the door when it's not correct. I mean, you have to appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was trying to look and I'm trying to scroll through this. Let's see. Basically, there was some issues with overheating, apparently, with like the heat generated by wireless charging. And I know I had a vehicle that had the Qi charger in it, and if you let it charge for any length of time, it does create some heat there.
Right.
So I guess when you're trying to charge 3 things with those wireless charging coils and stuff, that heat could be an issue. And of course, they don't want to. That can have a lot of ripple effect, apparently. So, hate it for people that were waiting on it. But it's just weird though, because like I cannot remember in recent time where Apple has done something like this. Maybe never. I mean, they've released products and then they've canceled them later, like they just quit selling them. But like, this is something they preview. Hey, look at this, we're working on. This is cool. Coming soon, and the coming soon never happened.
Right.
So
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't. I guess they, from all I've understood, and you've just read, they just decided that they've decided there wasn't going to be a market for it, or they decided they just couldn't make the product.
There was a market for it.
Well, maybe
it's an Apple product.
Yeah, I get that.
They could put an Apple logo on a rock.
Yeah, I know I've said that before too.
So I think it's less that and more there was some technical challenges. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, it's not like this hasn't been done before. I used to have a wireless charging pad. It was a Power Mat or something like that. They made some products a while back.
But were you able to charge 3 things simultaneously?
Yeah, no, but I don't.
I mean, that was kind of the trick here. Is this one thing you could put all your Apple like wearables and accessories.
Well,
being
I still don't
the
understand how
AirPods.
that was so complicated. I mean, even if you had to make like 3 calls, listen to me, you could do it.
This is in the TechCrunch article that we'll put in the show notes. Everything I've personally heard, Apple is saying nothing officially about the AirPower delay has been related to tough engineering problems related to the laws of physics. Specifically, I've heard that they ran too hot because the 3D charging coils in close proximity to one another required very, very cautious power management.
Okay, so all right, they were concerned about them catching fire and being a hazard.
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
I mean, if that's accurate, and actually that makes sense. I could understand that.
You know, obviously, this is because I'm reading the article here. Obviously, it would do Apple very little good to release a charging mat that caused the device to overheat, perhaps even to the point of damage. So it has canceled the project.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and that is totally understandable. I would say that makes as much sense as anything.
But for Apple to get to the point to where they actually are kind of previewing this in a public forum,
no, it's
and
unusual.
then 18 months later, roughly, they're like, no, we're not doing it. I mean, that's very, very rare for any company, let alone Apple.
Yeah, I know, but why would they need to do that? That's the question. What made someone think, well, let's go ahead and market it, and then we'll decide whether or not we really can build it?
I think they announced that at the same event they announced the AirPods, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think so. They kind of tied it with that because we're working on this new product. You'll be able to wirelessly, because wireless charging already existed for the iPhone.
Correct.
By this point.
Right, absolutely. And other phones too.
Yeah, but it existed.
Right.
But you would be able to charge all these devices with this one thing. And also it claimed that like the Apple the iPhone could show you the power level of all the devices. Because there's a picture here in this TechCrunch article. There was an Apple picture.
Of course, it would be able to connect.
But it shows it on the screen of the iPhone, like, okay, your iPhone's at this percent, the watch at this percent, my AirPods at this, and then the charging case of the AirPods is at this percent.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, unfortunately, for those who were looking forward to it. Sorry. It's not going to happen, so you'll have to, live without your AirPower, at least for now. I mean, I think Apple they may come back and revisit this later, but we'll see. It's going to be a while, probably.
I wonder if there's a competing product that's already out there that does wireless charging for multiple devices at one time. I've never fooled with. I don't have anything that does this. So
now the one I had in a vehicle, it was just it was only the size for a phone.
Correct.
Anyway. I've never attempted to charge multiple things, but real quick here, we're already up. We're well past the break.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
But this whole airline delay thing this morning.
Yeah, and we can talk about that after the break too.
Yeah, but I mean. And first I was like, oh, gosh, not again, But apparently some of these airlines have outsourced part of the flight planning, which I think I read in this Weight and Balance, the Aero data. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, I was listening to a little video clip from Fox News. I think I've got the link to that. But basically they put in how much weight and how much passenger and how it's distributed, and it tells the pilot important information how to set certain things so the plane will operate correctly with center of gravity and all that mess. So obviously if they don't have that way to get that information, they can't operate. So that's what kind of the thing was.
Oh, okay.
And some of these airlines, they just outsource that to a company. They don't do it internally. It's what basically what it is.
So something related to that was down.
Yes.
Or not accessible.
That's why multiple airlines experience this.
Correct.
Because they're all using the same service. And if you've ever flown and you're kind of where you can see up to the front of the aircraft, usually, or if they'll say we're waiting the final paperwork or what, we just got our final paperwork. That's what they're getting.
Right.
They're getting information from like their flight dispatchers.
Right. Exactly right.
So the pilot will have the information he needs to make sure everything's set correctly for takeoff. So
that seems like not a good idea.
What?
For all these to use one. I don't know. Especially now that it's known.
But here's the thing, though, is if everybody uses this service, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that company better have some redundancy. I mean,
That's for sure.
That's the thing. I mean, how many of us rely on Amazon.com?
I don't every day, but absolutely.
But I'm saying,
no,
but
I know what you're
they've
saying.
invested highly in redundancy.
Oh, sure, no question about it.
You know, because that's part of data assurance. It's not just security, but availability.
Right, exactly right. Well, when we come back,
We'll talk about more stuff.
yeah, plenty to talk about
Oh,
tonight,
yes.
and when we run out of stuff, we'll just dig stuff up. I mean, we may it's April Fool's Day, we make something up.
That's right.
Hey, Techie Show, be right back. Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show. I was trying to pull up a couple of things that I know Bruce had sent us
Yeah.
on some text. I know one of them, and we'll get to some other things in a minute, but one of them was Apple hires Tesla head of electric powertrains in effort to bring electric car to market, according to Electric, the website.
We have a rumor segment for stuff like that. Is this the Bruce segment?
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Should I?
I actually read it before I even don't. Yeah, don't.
I'll stop.
Okay. Well, that's a headline, and I haven't actually got to peruse the article too much, but I tell you what we'll do. We'll shelve this for our rumors segment, and I'll delve into it during the mid break, and think I'll be able to talk about it in a rumor segment. But I just wanted to sort of, and maybe we'll expand a little bit more.
Yeah, I have some thoughts about that.
I do too.
But
I've had for a while, and we've talked about it on the show, obviously.
Yeah.
So we may we'll probably get into that too.
So, yeah.
And of course,
anything else that from the Bruce stack?
Well, I was trying to look through here. He had sent some stuff.
Yeah. I really hadn't looked either. 'Cause some of it I was kind of without full internet connectivity when they got
Okay.
sent.
So also we'll have to. This is another one. Well, if Guru may have already had this. Apparently there was some leaks, and this is just teaser for our next segment, our segment in Our Dose. Headline: Apple schematics leaked, details of new iPhone design. So these are something that Bruce sent along.
Oh, okay.
So
well, thank you, Bruce. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we may get to, we plan. I plan on getting to those at some point.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, and of course we've already talked about this. That was you sent out about the outages.
Yeah. I sent that earlier today.
Yeah, right.
So.
And that was I actually saw it on the TV this morning. The old tube, a local TV. I'm sorry, ABC 3340 was talking about it, and they had somebody live there at Birmingham Shuttleworth Airport.
Funny, I flew into Birmingham Airport.
Yes.
My flight got there about 7.
The Birmingham Shuttleworth Airport.
It was in the early evening, like still daylight evening, so late afternoon, early evening time. But like there was no stores open like in the secure part of the airport, like the Starbucks and the Chick-fil-A and all that was closed, like lights off, the gate closed. I'm like. I thought they rolled the sidewalks up in the airport.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is kind of creepy.
And another one from Bruce. This is not a rumor. I don't know if people knew about this. Unpatched 0 days in Microsoft Edge and IE browser disclosed publicly. So there's a 0 day vulnerability unpatched. And apparently... I don't know whether they have patched it or not, so I can't speak to that. This is in the Hacker News. Shocking that Bruce would have something from the Hacker News.
All the news is fit to print is what he'd probably say.
Right. And so those are some things that may come up later on, but I did want to give out that Bruce did have some actual input tonight.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that from him. So
well, one thing Bruce didn't have any input on is what we're going to talk about next.
No.
It's with Bruce's favorite company, is Apple. Last Monday, I believe they had an event. They were calling it "It's Showtime."
Yes, and it was.
So I was kind of out of pocket. So
I watched it. And,
okay.
And I'll admit I was doing something else, so. I listened to some of it. Part of it I just watched.
Okay.
And it was a services event. There were no products.
Kind of a new.
And they would call them products, I guess, but there were no real hardware. No hardware.
Yeah, and you think of an Apple event, you think of some new physical thing.
Well, you do.
I mean
but now they've had these type things before. But normally, unless my memory escapes me.
It's escaping you. No,
okay.
I don't know.
What they normally have is an OS update, like a major OS update. I mean, this was not that.
Yeah.
The only thing that you would even remotely, I think, connect this with an OS update would be the Apple News Plus. It was an app update, basically, a change on that. And it's a subscription-based thing. And here's something interesting to me. Yeah. Now, I want you to grasp this. I know I'm not an economics major. I don't have that. I mean, I understand economics. I understand family economics. I understand keeping yourself afloat.
Well, that's finance. That's not economics.
Well, you're right. I'm sorry. See, I
didn't do very well in economics, but I know enough to know that. But
I meant finance. Never mind.
Okay.
I apologize. I said the wrong word. Thank you for correcting me.
Oh, no problem.
Finance. But I do understand how to keep keeping yourself afloat. Spend less money than you make.
Like a family budget.
Correct. All that kind of things. I do understand it. But here's the thing I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't get these numbers. I don't understand this. They said in this Apple News Plus, which if you don't know what it is, it's a subscription-based to supposedly hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands, I don't know.
Millions and millions.
Yeah.
Billions and billions.
Of news outlets, magazines, papers.
Mm-hmm.
They put up a figure that this subscription service would cost you like $8,000.
Huh?
If you subscribed.
Oh, to all the...
I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
So this is the news.
If you were just subscribing to all of these.
So this was their news.
News Plus.
Okay.
It would be like $8,000.
Oh, so it's each one of...
Correct, right. If you were trying to subscribe to all these.
Yeah.
How can they offer it $9.99 a month?
It's the Walmart philosophy. You just stack it high and price
per
it low.
person. I mean, and it was a family plan. So that means if you have a family, then everybody in the family could view it from one account.
But it's
it's the family.
It's called economies of scale.
Yeah, I still don't understand how they're going to split that enough for these other companies to make it.
But here's the thing. So these traditional news outlets, they used to be print.
No, I get it.
People buy less printed newspaper, magazines, and the like.
Yeah.
So people don't want to pay for stuff that's behind these paywalls.
No, I know.
People don't like paywalls.
But
so they don't get the subscriptions they would hope going on their own. So they're willing to take something rather than nothing and partner with Apple.
But the New York Times and the Washington Post are not. I mean, they have told them to go pound sand.
Well, then,
they're not part of this.
Well, then no, that's their choice.
At this point,
that's their choice.
I get it, Guru. I get it, but I don't get it. I don't get how these companies, how this will work. I mean, I know they're going to say, well, it's volume of subscribers. It will be volume of subscribers. It's just like television. Volume of subscribers.
Here's the thing. So these people that would subscribe to Apple News Plus, probably a large majority, I'd be willing to wager, would not go subscribe to any of these services individually. These different media outlets.
Well, that's the theory.
Well, that's my theory too, and I think that's a pretty sound theory. So these companies are like, they're partnering with Apple and said, okay, I'll take something rather than get nothing.
I'm going to tell you something.
I'll take a little bit from a lot of people and get some money, some revenue, versus never getting that money at all.
I think a lot of these subscriptions, although if they are subscriptions, and I'm sure there will be, and I'm sure it'll be in the quote unquote millions.
Oh, will be.
Apple,
yeah. Guarantee it's an Apple product. They could put a rock, like I said, put a rock on something and sell it.
My point is that I would believe, I'm not going to bet because I don't bet, but I would say that a majority of these people won't know they're still paying it after the second month.
Probably not.
It'll just be a recurring cost out of a credit card they laid down, and maybe the Apple card.
We'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah, there's
anyway,
an Apple credit card.
But
I just this news thing.
I just think at some point, and I may be way premature here, but at some point, all these subscription services that are competing for your money, it's going to come to a head one day.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
it's going to have to,
because there's only so much money to go around from somebody's personal budget. And right now, you may not be thinking about it. Oh, like this is $12 a month for Netflix, and this is Hulu is $5 a month, and those little bucks start adding up.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm a cord cutter. I don't have satellite television subscription. Oh, that's fine, but eventually it'll well exceed what you were paying.
Right. Well, and
I just think it's going to come.
And however,
it's going to come to a head, and I think we're going to go. The pendulum will swing back the other direction.
And now see, that's interesting. To bring that up too, because then that part of the pendulum, if you want to, as far as the media side, the TV side, they address that too.
Okay.
And the way it looked to me, and by the way, I didn't see anywhere, and I have not heard, and I think some of these things are launching in the fall, according to what I had seen.
Okay.
I didn't see any cost on any of the Apple TV Plus, the Apple TV service, and the Apple TV Plus service.
It says like coming in May.
Well, yeah, that might be right, but okay,
yeah,
it's later.
But I think it's going to be $12 a month. That's about what I pay for Netflix. If it's 10
No,
bucks,
I don't see how that's going to work.
If they try to undercut them and do like $10 a month, that's going to be huge for them. Just saying.
You know what it looked like to me, and this is just me. It looked like an aggregator of stuff.
Well, isn't Netflix to a certain
no,
extent?
Netflix is Netflix. What I'm saying is, in the app, Netflix was there.
Yeah.
Hulu was there.
Oh, in this app.
Yes. Like, and it
Oh.
would say, "Are you watching this on? This is coming up on net. You're watching this." Well, because see, some of these shows are strictly one of the shows they promoted the most. I can go ahead and tell you, will not be on any type of Apple service. It's exclusive to Netflix. They even showed some of the clips from it.
I just wonder how Netflix feels about this.
Well, I mean
I don't know.
It looked like to me
It's getting interesting. We'll put it that way.
Part of it to me, and that's why I said I didn't listen to all of it. I watched a lot of it. It was very visual, and that's what I found interesting because I kind of wanted to see that. I want to see what was my opinion of it, just visually.
Yeah.
And it looked a lot like Netflix. I mean, the interface, the UI. We're talking about the Apple TV service. It was very Netflix.
So you're not talking about the aggregator of Netflix.
That is what I'm talking about. That's what it looks like to me.
So it's both? I'm confused.
I know, and I was too.
So this app that has the Apple TV service also has Hulu and
That's
Netflix.
what it looked like to me. You could,
that just don't make sense.
It pulled it in like you could. It's almost like, hey, Siri or whatever, play me this show on Netflix.
That's just weird. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. I may be wrong.
That's the way it looked to me.
This is coming from a person who only has Amazon Prime Video and Netflix, and probably probably will keep that for the foreseeable future.
Here's an interesting factoid on that. I think you were talking about streaming services. The thing I found, and I told my wife about this. Long story short, we've had to cut back on television, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't really missed it.
Oh, really?
I haven't. I would say my wife has missed some shows.
Okay.
And I've missed a few sporting events, but very, very few. None that it would make me want to go back.
Okay.
Not enough that I'd say, well, it sure would be nice to.
It'd be like a passing comment maybe, but it's like,
correct, right.
Oh, well. Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah,
right.
Gotcha.
Even though I enjoy those sporting events, and in truth, we had a way around it and saw some of them that we wanted to. Some of them we didn't. But
pirate feeds or something.
No. It was everything was legal.
I know.
No.
I'm just messing.
No, I got you. Everything's legal, and I think I've said part of this. But I'll be honest with you, I don't. There's just some of the streaming stuff I'm enjoying. I'll enjoy and watch. I've cut back a lot actually on it.
Yeah.
And I really don't know of a lot of content that they're creating that I'm just crazy about.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it on the show before, but here the same thing with some online stuff. I find myself not really caring about some of the content, especially the creator content that they're referring to. And I don't know. We'll see. Look, this thing will be popular. There's no doubt about it. There's people clamoring and lining up to use it. It may even be good in the sense of a product that works for some people. But I don't know. I just find it. I find it not much different than other things, and that's what I'm really wondering about.
Yeah.
How much different is it? Now, one of the bigger things they announced, although but
before you move on, the only thing that's going to hurt Apple with this and their service, not the app, but the service, is they're again late to the game. One thing that's taught us over time, and this is not just services, but like I think of the Windows Phone, the Windows Band.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to pick on Microsoft, but
Mm-hmm.
they were late to the game with their stuff, and look where it's at now.
Yeah, I got that.
The only advantage here Apple has is their Apple. the brand recognition.
Yeah.
That's the only
And
they have an advantage
and
there.
it will work on all their devices. I mean, that's the thing.
And that they have such a deep penetration
Right.
in the market. So they have those advantages, but being late to the game, that's not good because I mean Netflix is way out in front. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to catch up with them.
Well, maybe not. Here's the problem, though. I'm beginning to wonder, even though they took a swap at Netflix, and I don't remember the exact quote, but there was a little swap going.
Yeah.
There was a little chippiness going on.
Yeah.
But the problem I have with all of it is they included Netflix. It was
That's the weird part.
I mean, I'm telling you, one of their most popular right now I know shows that's only Netflix. It's a Netflix run show. They shot it for Netflix. Netflix runs it.
Yeah. But
It's not going anywhere.
But what was I going to say? I lost my train
But
of thought.
it was one of the ones that they highlighted.
But here's the thing: Apple, to make this service work at the price point that they're going to sell it at, they're expecting a certain number of subscriptions.
But right.
And if they can't hit that mark, this thing will not survive.
Yeah.
That's my feeling because Apple, now granted, Apple does have a huge war chest of money, but they've dropped a lot of cash to get to this point. We've been talking about these rumors, all these different production companies have been acquiring. So, I mean,
and
why would they be doing that? I mean, hello.
And then they had this other thing, and I'm going to including this. I'm not skipping to another thing. I'm including this.
I mean, that's one angle that Netflix has had an advantage of, and some of these others are doing the same thing where they have exclusive content.
Yeah.
They're building. They're
well,
producing their own.
and there's another thing they said in, not one more thing, but they literally did one more thing.
Yeah.
Because they spent a lot of time in this area. I mean, a lot of the show was this area. Is a thing called Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
And basically, it's original content made by elite producers, actors, directors, musicians.
So they're trying to brand this as a premium service.
Yes,
Kind of.
that part of it is that's different than just the Apple TV. So
Yeah.
this is a plus.
Oh, so there's two levels.
Yes.
There's
Well, it's an addition. It's like an app.
So there's the Apple TV subscription
Yes,
service,
yes.
and then this TV
That
Plus is yet another level,
Yes.
a higher tier.
It's like it's basically like shows just produced for this.
Okay.
You'll only find them here.
So it's almost like an add-on piece.
That's what it looked like to me.
Well, and that kind of goes along with Apple being a premium product. Their products are premium products, but they've got like an entry level. It sounds like to try to be more mainstream and compete with the Hulu's and the Netflixes of the world.
Yeah.
But then we got you here now. Let's take us up to the premium notch, and we got all this exclusive content that's very high quality.
And along with that exclusivity, one more exclusivity was put out, and that was the Apple Arcade.
Apple Arcade.
Yes, it's like an app. It's very similar. And by the way, I didn't put this out there, but all of this curated, every bit of it human curated.
Of course.
The news feed, the Apple Arcade, and the Apple Arcade is exclusive games to Apple only.
Okay.
Made for Apple only.
And I guess these will be delivered on their devices, correct?
I think when you subscribe to it, you get free reign access to, and you can play them.
So it's an all you can consume
Yes.
model, kind of like what Google announced week prior.
Yes.
That we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, right.
Do we hope we have an article about that?
I don't know if I have anything on that or not, but I know we have talked about it previously.
I've got an article here, the Stadia event or Stadia product.
That's it, yeah. So,
but that's another thing too, and I think that could be very successful because it seems like the pendulum's starting to shift away from console gaming.
But right
to where you can you subscribe to service, it's a la carte. As long as you're paying the subscription, you have access to this library of games in this case.
And it was very. They even demonstrated. You know how they do. They demonstrated several of the games.
Yeah.
And one of them they showed. I'm sorry, Guru, but I wanted to get this before I forget it. One of them they showed how they basically made the game, and the miniatures that they took video of,
Yeah.
like a miniature city, and then they built the game on top of that.
Okay.
So it's robust and it's time consuming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any game is going. That's a whole nother level of writing software
Yeah.
that I have no understanding of. I write business applications.
But it's almost like a story. The whole thing was basically about storytellers.
Yeah.
From everything except the credit card, obviously.
Well, we'll get to that. But back to this video game service, and this kind of will tag along with the well, somebody's trying to call me on the show. Okay, well, call 782-50 if you're listening. She's not listening anyway. We'll talk about this with the Google event later, but I think the pendulum's going to start swinging towards away from console gaming into where you have these devices, whether it's an Apple device or a Google device or whatever device, and you pay for a service and you get all these games that you have access to. You don't have to have, I mean, you already own the hardware. You don't have to go out and buy a console
Right.
and go buy software titles. It's the Netflix of gaming.
Right.
And Google's about to do this. Apple's about to do this.
Yeah.
And you're going to see others going to follow suit.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Google and Apple are going to be ahead of this. So they're the ones that are going to win initially, and hopefully they can maintain that lead. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the traditional game
Well, it is.
places. The people that design these games, EA,
All right.
plus you think about the console manufacturers like Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting time if you enjoy like your hardcore gamer.
Yeah. Well, and another thing,
And even if you're a casual gamer, this is a huge opportunity because you can get into these games without investing hundreds of dollars in a console.
we talked on the show recently, if I might add, not too long ago, about the fact that these products, like Xbox, like Nintendo, that some have seen mock-ups of these devices without disk drives. Like they're all going to be an online gaming console.
But you'll still have to have hardware.
I know.
I just wonder how much the hardware is going to cost.
Well, I
Because
think it'll be similar priced. I mean,
like an Apple.
there's Apple hardware.
Like this. Well, I know that, but you've already got it.
No, I agree.
Is Apple Arcade only going to work on Apple hardware?
From what I gathered, it was only going to be an Apple product, which is, there may be some more exclusivity that may cause them a problem in other countries, which I was kind of surprised about, actually. I mean, I'm just saying that.
Talking about like the EU,
yes,
in particular.
and I didn't even, and now it's just hit me a little bit, and I really have not given that enough credit to think about. And we're going long here, and we'll cut in a second.
Yeah, that's fine.
But real quickly. What will this look like on the EU side? That is a good question. And how will they take it that Apple is really doubling down? I mean, for the most part. We have this product, and we're going to this stuff is only going to be here. This is our product.
At worst, it may not be available in the EU.
Well, I don't know.
Worst case.
But, I actually,
Worst case.
Yeah, I know, but
That won't be the case, but just saying.
I just think that wait, mark this day down mentally in your mind.
Okay.
And I'm not
April
speaking
Fools.
for April Fool's Day 2019. I don't think this is the last we've heard on that.
No,
the more exclusivity that they even market and discuss and tell, I think that EU is even going to be more interested in looking into this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's over.
Yeah, that's a whole nother angle to this.
It is, but it's one I have not put a lot of thought to until right now. So, hey, Techie Show, we shall return. Welcome in to
The Hey Techies Show.
yes,
About to wrap up this first hour.
yes, I know. And this is the Apple event edition. No, I'm just kidding. But we have been discussing
Well,
that.
we'll try to put a bow in this for the end of this hour so we can kind of put this to bed.
Well, I've enjoyed talking about it. Actually, it's fairly fascinating. I will tell you this: I did think, in general, I was not really impressed with the event. But in fairness, it's really not my cup of tea.
Well, Apple's just known for these huge product announcements, like physical products. This is kind of different for them. So you had an expectation going in.
Well, we did, but I think part of I shouldn't have, because of the previous week's announcements of the iPad Pro and some other ancillary things, chip changes and that kind of stuff. I think we should have had some kind of bells go off that this was not going to be much of a hardware event, and it turned out to not be.
Yeah, but you still had this expectation in your mind.
The one more thing.
Right.
And there really was, there was that, but it was totally, literally, I was kind of surprised in a way. I'll have to give Guru credit there. I was kind of taken back in a way. There were no products, hardware products. Very surprising.
And that is a rare move for Apple.
But I would say it on this level, though. I would expect some interesting things later in the year.
Yeah,
I think that's probably more likely now, given what they did the first of the year. So we'll see. I don't know. This may be a different year for Apple. It may be a revamping of sorts, if there is such a thing. So certainly later on we'll have the next version of the OS, probably both of them.
Yeah.
And learn a lot more about those.
Yeah.
Probably in June, somewhere in June maybe.
It'll be a WWDC because that one's geared towards developers.
Correct.
Usually
right.
Details about those latest, the next
Sure.
major things to the OS. They kind of get that in the developers' hands early. So yeah. But this last thing you talked about at Apple. Credit card,
yes.
So,
and to be honest with you, I don't know a ton about it.
Apple Card.
Yeah, they did cover it, and I was trying to listen a little bit, and part of it, and I read some things later. Pardon me, and part of it, for me, other than you can use it to totally connect yourself to an app by Apple Pay.
Well, of course.
I know, and utilize it. You can do things like, for instance, it can break down how much you pay on food through the app, or how much you pay on entertainment, or per different dates.
Yeah.
How much you pay in utility. If you used it for everything, you could budget. The whole idea was it would break you down, basically, your monthly expenditures.
Okay.
And you could understand in a graphical experience where all that's going. And that is interesting. But I have been told.
They've got a video here I'm watching.
Right. And I have been told, and I read some other things, that other companies are already doing this. Other banking companies have these methods.
This is not new.
Right. Now, it's not new, no, but of course Apple's doing it better.
Oh.
You know how it goes. So,
yeah, I just think again, this is kind of yawn to me. Like,
yeah, well, it was me too. I'm not. I already have a card that works for me, and I'm really not in need of that. And they had a thing that there is something that was interesting, and I admit they've thought it out. I will give them that, but they had a payment plan option. And what it would do is show you, and you can do this yourself if you learn how to do it, how much you would save if you paid this much payment or that much payment, over a period of time, if you were not paying it off every month.
Yeah.
Which is what I would suggest trying to do with a card if you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's tough sometimes in life, depending on your situation.
Absolutely.
But paying it off every month will build a lot of things. That's a whole nother subject matter.
Yeah.
But my point is that it was interesting. Some of the things were kind of interesting. Most of it was a yawn overall to me. I agree. But then again, I'm not in the market for that. I don't have an iPhone. I don't use Apple Pay. And I don't see why I would need an Apple Card. And the other thing was security of it. They were showing how they're not going to have a actual number tied to your card physically on the card.
Yeah.
It would be a changing number. It depends on the vendor.
Yeah.
And it's not a new idea. This idea has been floated around for some time. Sometime they've used it, like you said earlier, is like a token.
Yeah, we talked before in the green room before we came on, but back to I have an iPhone,
Right.
and I use Apple Pay,
Correct,
with,
right.
with,
And
a,
you-
with
yeah.
a different card. But I do not give a crap about this. This is like big deal, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very satisfied with the few credit cards I use because I
Right.
don't have a bunch, but I have enough, and they offer some,
Okay.
they offer a rewards program,
Okay.
which what credit card doesn't these days?
So, correct. Absolutely.
Whether
So,
it's airline miles or cash back or whatever points.
but I think part of this is, and there's no way you can discount this. Part of this is having a card, platinum or whatever, that says Apple on it. I mean,
I don't give a
I know you don't. I know you don't, but I
know that's
already saw.
And folks, I should have warned you to sit down before I said that, but I don't care about
Oh,
having
I
an
understand.
Apple Card.
I got it, but I know you don't.
But some folks will flock to
Oh
this
yeah, I guarantee they already are.
because it's Apple.
That's right, and they can pull that out of their wallet, and it's an Apple card.
Apple Card.
Yeah.
Whoopee. I've got an American Express. I've got a Visa. I've got a Discover. Whoopee.
I'm just saying, I can see where this is going, and it's not backed by a bank. It's backed by a money company. No, that's true, but Goldman Sachs, among others that weren't named, from what I could tell. So
Yeah, that's an interesting move.
yeah, so we'll see.
Unless no bank would touch this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they have their own card though, but maybe they didn't want to. Well, banks partner with like different companies to have branded cards. Like I've got one for a particular airline that I won't name. 'Cause I don't
Right.
Want to try to
no,
endorse them.
please don't.
Yeah. Everybody has these. They're
Correct,
different,
right.
different branded cards.
Right.
And you get certain benefits, but maybe the terms and conditions that Apple is going to be bound to by a said bank, they just said no.
Well, they claimed they were going to have the lowest rates, but I got to digging in that, and some people were complaining that
That's a variable depending on the
Correct.
person's situation because there's not everybody's going to get the same rate.
correct, right? But they were talking about some really low, and the rates they were talking about were. I mean, it didn't seem like to me it was a much difference. I mean, I know rate is important if it is a little lower because that does make a difference,
Yeah.
especially with long term.
Right.
But it just didn't seem like to me that they were anything amazing to write home about. It wasn't earth shattering on that level. So there you go. That's
And I guess the only advantage here is if you use this for Apple purchases, they don't have
Yes.
to pay fees to
Correct.
the banks.
correct. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I can understand. Certainly for Apple's side of it, I think there's only positive side of this. This right here is a no-brainer.
They got a titanium card.
Yes,
It's got
correct.
your name etched on
That's
it.
it. And they showed the video of them doing that. That's my point. That was my point.
It's made entirely of titanium, laser etched with your name.
Right.
I wonder if everybody gets that or if that's just a certain type. I don't know. I've got to read into this more. But anyway, yeah. So I'm not in the market. I mean, yeah, it's got that cool factor, but like I don't need another credit card. That's the last thing I want for a credit card. I mean, I'm good. It's like thanks. but
Well,
no thanks.
anyway, that's sort of how that went. So, and I forgot to mention as we're going to break here for our dose, they ended with the big O,
The big O.
Oprah.
Oh.
She came out at the end and said, "There's never been
Everybody gets a card.
There's never been a time like this in history." Hey, Techie Show. Be right back.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. Boeing and the Federal Aviation Administration say the company needs more time to finalize software fixes to address problems with a flight control system in 737 MAX airplanes now linked to two recent crashes that killed 346 people. As NPR's David Shaper reports, that means the planes could be grounded much longer than originally thought.
After rolling out software fixes to pilots, industry leaders, and regulators last week, Boeing said it would submit the changes to the FAA for review by the end of last week. That didn't happen, and now Boeing and the FAA say it'll be a few more weeks before the company finishes the software fixes. The FAA says more time is needed to ensure that Boeing has identified and appropriately addressed all pertinent issues related to a 737 MAX flight control system. That system activated in a Lion Air 737 MAX in October, apparently without the pilots knowing about it, putting the plane into a nosedive based on data from a faulty sensor. Investigators say a similar problem appears to have contributed to last month's Ethiopian Airlines crash. David Shaper, NPR News, Chicago.
The Trump administration is threatening to pull as many as 2,000 inspectors away from border crossings to help handle the surge of families arriving at the U.S. southern border with Mexico. Many of the families are trying to escape countries in Central America. The temporary assignments, up from 750 previously announced, could slow the movement of trade between the U.S. and Mexico, which totals well over $1 billion a day. The administration says it also wants to ramp up efforts to return asylum seekers to Mexico. For the second time in less than a week, the UK Parliament has failed to back a path forward on Brexit. As NPR's Frank Langford reports from London, the country's political stalemate continues with just 11 days to go before Britain is scheduled to leave the EU.
Lawmakers defeated all four options on offer in non-binding votes. The House of Commons voted down a softer Brexit that features a customs union with the EU. That would have limited the need for border checks on the island of Ireland and helped solve a big Brexit problem. But the measure failed by 3 votes. A proposal to take any Brexit deal back to the public for a referendum failed by 12 votes. Last week, Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal failed by 58 votes. The government says it may try to bring that deal back for a 4th vote later this week. Frank Langford, NPR News, London.
Construction spending picked up in February, led by a strong uptick in spending on government projects. Commerce Department says construction spending rose 1%, following an even bigger gain in January and a slight rise in December. The gains helping to push total construction spending to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of $1.3 trillion. That's the highest level since last May. Stocks posted solid gains on the first trading day of the second quarter. The Dow was up 329 points today to 26,258. The Nasdaq rose 99 points. This is NPR.
Hour
Dose
of the Hey Techies Show. So glad you could be with us tonight.
Tried to mix that up on me. You used to say welcome back to our.
Well, sorry.
I wasn't ready yet.
Well, that's okay.
That's good.
Now he's ready.
I'm ready to go.
Now he's ready to go.
On all cylinders.
And if you wanted to know, Bruce is not here tonight.
I know. It's a sad situation.
It really is a sad, sad tale. But anyway, he sends his best and his regards. But the Guru's here, and Guru's doing well.
Yeah.
And Guru had a great week last week.
I did have a great week last week. I was enjoying some warm weather, some sunshine, some tropical
you
destinations.
look like you enjoyed some sunshine.
Yeah.
Not too red, but
I,
enough.
I got a good color.
Color,
I was careful, sunscreen.
There you go.
Not being out in this. I don't like laying in the sun all day. I do different things. So I was out there some. I think there was one afternoon I kind of fell asleep in a chair listening to my iPod on my phone, and I was just kind of like, they're like, oh, it's time for dinner. Let me go get ready.
Speaking of that, and we'll get to we need to do our headlines here in a minute, but real quickly, sort of a teaser, I guess. And I haven't talked this over the guru, so he can shoot me later.
I'll just turn your mic off.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
How was the Wi-Fi on the ship? Was it decent this time? Or
We'll get into all that later. The tech. I didn't have full internet. I had a package that allowed me to use social media, in particular, like Facebook Messenger,
right,
and like iMessage.
I know you usually do
iMessage, and also work with another messaging app.
Right.
But that was mainly for communication back home.
Right.
So I did use it for other what was available, but I didn't have full reign of the internet. Nothing streaming. It was letting me stream some stuff through Facebook though, like people that did like Facebook Lives or videos. It actually worked, and it worked fairly decent.
Okay.
They do offer like a tier. They offer like 3 tiers. They have that tier.
Right.
They have like a basic tier, which you can either purchase the entire voyage or per minute.
Wow.
Well, I
know.
You can purchase per minute and get kind of basic internet,
right.
Full. It's full unfettered minus streaming. You can buy it by the minute, or you can just buy a package for the whole time, unlimited. Or they also offer for a higher tier, full reign, like high speeds, designed for streaming, VPN access, and the whole.
Wow.
It's expensive. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But if you were in a situation where you had to be connected maybe to work while you were on vacation with your family,
it would be the.
you could. I've never tried it, and I've asked for demos before, and
right,
I've never. They don't ever answer my email, so
yeah.
They obviously don't want me to demo it because I would have demoed it for the show, but so I don't want to get into much detail. But it served its purpose for me.
Okay, and that's fine. I was just curious. I didn't know how their coverage was.
But they've got another feature. They have this little app. I'm not going to tell you what cruise line I went through.
That's fine.
I'll just because maybe I should. No, I won't. What do you think, Michael?
It doesn't matter. We're not advertising for them.
Well, I'm giving my review. It was the Norwegian cruise line, and they have an app, and it works like away from the cruise. Like before you're going, you can like plan your dinner reservations and your excursions and see your account. Like before you go, like anytime you pull up what you got booked.
Walt Disney World has a similar thing where you can do all the things.
But once you get on the ship and connect to the ship's Wi-Fi, you get additional functionality. You can actually look at your onboard account balance at that moment.
Okay.
You can look. You can look at you can still book shows and book dinner reservations and book short excursions. You can do all that on there, but it also has a feature that shows you what's happening on the ship, like activities. Kind of, most of these cruise lines, if you've ever cruised, they give you like a little paper.
Right.
And it's got like a list of activities going on for that day.
Right.
But this is an electronic version of that. The other thing, which is kind of what the app should be good for, is messaging. It has a way, this is an add-on. The other stuff is included. This you have to pay for. It was like $9.95 for the whole voyage per device, to where you can message other people on the cruise ship with you. Like, think of it like a text messaging that can also do videos, but also it supported calling.
Okay,
but it was through the ship's Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. Like Wi-Fi calling.
So there were several people on the cruise with me, friends that I knew. Right. So we all did the $9.95, so we could, where are you at? Hey, I'm going here. If we, it's just some of these ships are massive.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it worked not too well.
Okay.
It worked at times, but at times it wouldn't work. It would say messages got delivered, but they actually didn't get them. The app would lock up and crash. It would say, every time you pulled up to try to send somebody a message, it'd say, this person has not downloaded the app or not using the app. I'm like, well, yeah, they are, because I've been getting messages from the whole week. The calling sometimes didn't work. It was buggy. Very buggy,
gotcha.
Which I understand this stuff is not easy to do. But if you're going to offer it and then charge your guests additional fees to use this, it should work a little bit better. Every once in a while, if it has some sort of bug, that's typical, unfortunately. But this was like it was very buggy.
Too buggy.
Yeah, and on top of that little what's happening that tells you what's going on the ship, it had very few things listed, and I was like, the little paper they give you in your room had a whole lot more. I asked somebody that was kind of in leadership that I came across and met, And I asked him, why is it this way? And he told me, well, we have to put that stuff in a different system to get it on the app, so we only put a few things.
Huh.
And we have to do another way to create the printed version. So
Sounds
I said,
very manual.
and I said, I get that because I work in IT. I understand there's something that's got to feed this app, but they need to give you a means to make it easier.
Right.
So I shared that feedback with the company. I mean, because that's not the cruise ship's fault.
Yeah, that's not automated enough.
Yeah, they need some sort of interface, I guess you'd say,
Yeah.
some integration, because I should be able to just leave that paper in my room and have this device on me. It's, what's going on? Okay, bingo's going on. I want to go to bingo, or I want to go to the ice carving demonstration, or the
Right.
towel folding demonstration. I mean, the things that you do on cruise ships. I mean, I'm serious. They have like an ice carving demonstration.
I know.
They
I
show you how to
believe
do the
you.
towel.
Do they have an
animals.
eating demonstration? That's one of
That's the whole time.
Okay.
You just go up to the nearest restaurant.
Yeah.
and
Sure.
there's
Eating demonstrations at 1, 2, 3, and 4.
That's right. Ice cream between.
Yeah, right. And I'm talking about 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yeah. I may or may not have had dessert at 2 a.m.
No, may or
one
may
morning.
not have.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, we've got a few headlines here, and we'll go ahead and get those in for our dose headlines.
you want me to go first?
I can go first.
I'll go first. So
Oh.
Apple has canceled the long-awaited AirPower product. Dan Riccio, Apple Senior VP of Hardware Engineering, released a statement last week announcing the canceled product. His statement said that the product was canceled because AirPower will not achieve Apple's high standards. AirPower was announced in September 2017, and the AirPower charging mat was to deliver a means to wirelessly charge an iPhone, an Apple Watch, and AirPods at the same time. And then this morning, we had at least 5 airlines experience delays due to a computer issue. Reports indicate that Delta, United, Southwest, Alaska, and JetBlue all experienced the same outage. Spokesperson for Southwest told Gizmodo that the outage was caused by, quote, a vendor that services multiple carriers with data used in flight planning, end quote. In another statement by the FAA to CBS News, they stated that delays were from, quote, flight planning, weight, and balance program called Aerodata. And this issue was resolved by 8 a.m. Eastern this morning. What you got, Michael?
Really? 8 a.m. Eastern this morning.
Yeah, I think Southwest, about 6 o'clock Eastern, kind of said they were having trouble, so just a few hours.
Well, if you're Google, what do you do? Well, you shut down services. This week, Inbox by Gmail, URL Shortener by Google, and of course Google Plus all came to an end. Along with those just announced terminated products, the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. Google's smartphone is no longer sold through its online store, leaving Google with the only Pixel 3 and 3 XL. The Pixel 3, by the way, is Google's least expensive phone at $799. And that's your tech headlines for this week.
Not too heavy on the stomach, you know.
No, not too heavy.
After all that good food I had last week, I need to be a
Sure,
little lighter.
sure.
I probably gained a few pounds.
I actually, speaking of that, we took one day last week, and we went over to Chattanooga, which I like Chattanooga.
Oh, it's a great city.
Went to Rock City again, got my exercise in up there.
You'll do that up there.
My wife's watch told her she climbed 10 stories.
You can do that up there easily, going
Yeah, up
through
and
all
down.
Yeah.
And anyway, she has a Fitbit, by the way.
One day I walked 24,000 steps.
Yeah,
We was at a port of call.
yeah. I've done that before too at Walt Disney World.
Oh yeah, you can easily do that there.
Yeah.
I think it was 24,000. Let me go back and look at my little activity. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So, we ate at a restaurant that I'd never eaten at, although it's not necessarily new. I learned that actually it's been around for a little while, but it's called Sticky Fingers.
Sticky fingers.
Oh man, it was good.
Was it finger licking good?
It was.
Licking those sticky
It
fingers.
would. They do a lot of smoked products. They had their big thing is ribs, and I'm not going to go any further. But it was delicious, and of course I can't sit here and recommend them, but
But you had a good meal.
It was a very good meal. And man, I could go there right now, but it's 2.5 hours away. So.
I could go to a cruise ship right now, but
Well, I'm sure you
they're
could.
more than 2.5 hours away.
Yeah,
That was some good food, man. I'm sorry, I'm making everybody hungry.
No, that's okay. Well, they were already hungry anyway.
Yeah, it is dinner time for some people.
Sure. Well, when the Hey Techie Show returns, we'll have rumors hopefully booted up coming your way. I don't know quite how many we got tonight, but we'll make a few up on the way, I guess. Hey Techie Show. Be right back. Guru's pushed me on into the show. We got to get going.
Yeah, we've been playing that bumper for like a minute or so.
Well, I was enjoying
this
it.
Is not. I mean, we could just come in one night. It's been great for April Fools. Just play music.
Yeah.
Like you're listening to Hey Techie Show. Let's get on to our next song. Here.
Yeah,
Spinning the hits right here.
Right. No, welcome back into the Hey Techie Show, and I hope you were enjoying the music as well. I was. But we have coming up right now our rumor section.
So you want to start us off?
I can.
Michael. Because the one I've got kind of segues into something else. That's not
Apple hires Tesla's head of electric powertrains. Now, the headline goes on to say, in an effort to bring electric car to market. That, to me, is as rumor mill as anything.
Well, we've been talking about this for
I know
well over a year.
Oh, yeah, about Apple bringing a car. It's still laughable. But anyway. Now, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, but I'm going to do the best I can. Michael Schewitskus. I don't think that's it. SCH.
Sorry, we mispronounced your name.
WEKUTSCH.
Sorry, we can't pronounce that very well.
Anyway, Michael S.
Michael S.
Michael S.
There
is
you
what
go.
we'll call him on the Hey Techies show. Sorry about that.
Mr. Michael S.
Yeah, Mr. Michael S. It says here, early this month, they reported Tesla losing its VP of engineering behind its latest electric powertrains, which would be interesting, really, to me, because there has been some question as to what Apple was doing. And I've said from the get-go that they were going to build something that was in support of electric car companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some kind of product that went in the vehicle, software, if you will. But with this gentleman coming over, of course, it spins up the rumor mill even more about whether or not they really are going to build a physical car.
Yeah, this has been all over the place. Is it going to be their own car? It's going to be tech for a car that a company will adopt. I mean, what is it going to be? Well, only Apple really knows. Tim Cook knows, and he's not telling.
Well, this gentleman joined Tesla back in 2015.
Or I should say Tim Apple.
Yeah, Tim King Apple. Yeah,
No, Tim Apple.
Tim Apple.
Tim Apple. That's
Tim
what,
Apple.
That's what,
Apple King Tim.
Yeah,
Tim Apple. Yeah.
Tim Apple.
Yeah. Some people are calling him Apple King.
Okay.
It says here that at Tesla, he participated in the development of leading-edge drive systems like the one of the Tesla Roadster 2 and the Tesla the semi-truck. Oh, so Apple wants to build semi-trucks, huh?
Oh, you want to start that rumor?
No, apparently. They say he is the latest. He's the latest of several top Tesla engineers.
So the Apple container ship to bring their stuff over.
Correct.
From overseas.
That's it. They need to build an electric container self-driving vehicle that brings their stuff over. That's a good one. Now it says he has exclusively worked on electric powertrains over the last decade. Has joined Apple. And according to this, they're becoming clear that the company plans to bring an electric vehicle. Of course, that's an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any idea. I'll be honest with you. My guess is I still would be shocked. I just don't see them selling cars. That's my problem with this. What's the biggest thing you would say they sell physically? The biggest, that old iMac.
Well, in terms of size, I mean, price, you could almost say an Apple phone, an iPhone.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about price. I'm talking physical.
It does not really fit in with what they do.
No, I
their
don't
product
see it either.
portfolio.
And the law.
And here's the thing: like Tesla came in to try to disrupt the auto industry, and some people, there's debate whether or not how well they're doing it. I mean, they're struggling at times, but it's entering the auto industry is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Oh, yeah.
There's been, I mean, some of these big automakers, they've had to kind of downsize some of the brands they sell because it was just not making sense financially to have all these. I mean, how many years has it been since we've had Oldsmobile
Right.
and Pontiac, among other brands that have kind of starting to wither on the vine, so to speak. And that's established car companies. Now,
Right.
Tesla, I mean, for them to has gotten as far as they have is remarkable, to say the least. But I don't know if Apple, maybe they're just dabbling around in it. They just got money to blow.
Now, there is something else here we should not forget. Just because this guy could build cars or build powertrains doesn't mean he's not valuable in other areas. He's still an engineer.
That's true.
And so there could be a lot of things that we can't even imagine.
And who's to say that this engineer saw the writing on the wall at Tesla?
Well, Or he got offered a lot more money to go to Apple. I mean, money talks.
It does, but what if he saw the writing on the wall?
That's a good point.
And
there is a theory to look back at that, yeah.
And he got recruited away.
Yeah, that's true.
And he may be working on some other thing and not electric vehicles. Right. That's always a possibility.
Oh, yeah, and this article does go on, so by the way, it'll be in the show notes.
The writing on the wall Tesla is another rumor.
Yeah. Well, it does go on to say that a lot of individuals have left Tesla one way or the other, either cutbacks or just attrition leaving.
Yeah.
And have gone to Apple. Some of them did. Not all of them, but some of them did.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only going to take the best.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't mean that as a slight of all the people there, but just if you had 100 people in a group, I mean, you would have a group that probably is the best at whatever they do at that place.
Right.
X place, X people. I'm not any one individual.
Yeah, there's just a whole lot of reading the tea leaves here.
Yes.
And
that's the rumor segment.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we do best here.
What do you got, Guru?
So I got one here, then it'll probably segue into something we teased in the first hour. So this is headline: Could Walmart be the next big company to launch a game streaming service? We talked about Apple's entry into that. Google entered that a few weeks ago with Stadia, which we'll talk about briefly. Hopefully we're going to try. I mean, I'm not the Google expert, but we're going to try. Google recently stole the spotlight at GDC with the launch of Stadia. But they're not the only one eyeing the space. There's a new report from US Gamer that puts Walmart in the running as well. The retailer has spent the last several years making a push into the high-tech sphere. It's made some high-profile acquisitions like Jet.com in the bid to compete with Amazon. The company is even testing out inventory-checking robots in 50 of its stores. And with the recent exit of CEO Jeremy King, it could be looking for the next big thing. According to reports, Walmart has been meeting with developers and publishers at GDC. It's tough to say how advanced these talks are, and those involved with the leaks have understandably wished to remain anonymous. The company certainly has the back-end infrastructure to attempt the service. It also has a loyal base of customers in the U.S. to whom it sells a lot of video games.
Okay.
But given how it abandoned plans for video streaming service as of January, this could be just talk.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I mean, that kind of makes sense for Walmart. They're just trying to win everything like they used to years ago. But now in the digital era, think about it. Before the internet was the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Walmart was king.
Yeah, I just don't see Walmart in the services industry like that.
Yeah, that's
a problem.
Yeah, that's a stretch because Walmart is a retailer. They sell goods. They sell goods,
and they have done well at it, obviously. And I'm not saying you don't branch out and put your eggs in more than one basket.
Right, diversification's good, but the only thing with video games that they currently are in, they sell them, but they're other people's products. They sell Xboxes and PlayStations and Wii's, and is that still a thing?
Yeah, it is actually.
And the Nintendo Switch and all the associated video game and video game accessories, like propane and propane accessories.
Sure, right, exactly.
Anyway,
grills and lawnmowers.
Propane and propane accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So, but talking about, this is kind of the big elephant in the room that we failed to mention at the beginning because we've kind of been off for an extra week here. But Stadia, that's Google. That's what they announced.
Correct.
We talked about this the last week we were on.
Right.
That was rumored to be they will come out with a video game service.
Right.
So at GDC 2019 on March 19th, they actually revealed this product called Stadia, which is their much hyped Project Stream venture. Which let's see, I'm trying to read this as we go because I did not prep. Like every week I don't prep. Anyway,
stop it.
The vertically integrated gaming platform consolidates the gaming process from development and hosting to distribution and advertising, explained Phil Harrison. Stadium will eliminate the hardware barriers and merge the two pillars of the modern gaming industry: the developers who create the immersive digital worlds and the fans who visit YouTube to stream or watch Fortnite, Apex Legends, and League of Legends. Stadia may eliminate the need to buy gaming consoles and PCs as it will run entirely in the Google Chrome web browser.
Right.
Stadia will come with a standalone controller in a bundle that will be far, far cheaper than $400 consoles, which is the norm. And it goes on. It talks about how it's going to work and all that. But that's kind of the highlight. They're creating a service.
Correct. Right. A gaming service.
Gaming service that runs in Chrome. So if you have a Chrome browser on your device, whether it's a Windows device or an Apple device or, a Chromebook,
right.
It'll work. They claim. And then you can buy a controller, which will probably be a pretty low price point. I'm thinking less than $50. It's supposed to come out this year, but basically you'll subscribe to the service and have access to all these games in an a la carte model. You continue paying for the service, you have access to the games.
Right.
I think this is they're fixing to disrupt the video game industry. Google, Apple.
Oh yeah,
because Apple a week later announced their Apple Arcade.
Right.
So this is huge. This is going, and we talked about the week before our last show that if this actually came to pass, that this was going to be a disruption to this traditional model.
Right.
And you've had like that was it Steam?
Yes, Steam. Yes.
But you still have to have some horsepower to run these games. You need to have a gaming PC or a PC with a decent specs, but this is going to kind of level that playing field in terms of that barrier to entry.
Right.
Because how many Chrome browsers are installed right now?
Millions.
How many Chromebooks are out there?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see about how well this product works.
Yeah, exactly. This is
given it's running in a web browser.
Yeah, but this is just announcements. No one's really put their hands on it yet, so we'll see.
I think I thought Bruce played something, a demo of it or something. You could sign up.
Well, they had that Project Stream. They had that.
That was it.
Yeah. So it's kind of off of that project. They haven't announced a price yet.
Yeah. Well,
and Sony and NVIDIA already offer video streaming services. This is the same article here. We'll put this in the show notes. But to access the games, like on Sony with PlayStation Now, you have a subscription fee of $20 per month. So that puts if they stay in that same market, you're looking at around $20 service. But think about with PlayStation Now is you have to have a PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I know.
So that's the big difference here.
Right.
And we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, the only way the traditional consolers are going to survive if this does become very popular is they'll have to have some exclusivity. But again, you're dealing with something running in a browser, so I wonder it goes back to what you said. How well is it going to work?
I think some of the things here that people are looking at is they would like to see old games on there that they either that they remember playing, that
the retro stuff,
right?
Yeah,
I think that's my understanding, and new games too. But I think from what I can understand that there's a lot of people, nostalgic game players, if you will. That may not be a thing, but I just made it up. This is the rumor segment. So I think that those individuals would like to see some of the games that they may have had at one time, or, they would need a disc to install, what have you,
right,
to be able to play that.
There's still a lot of questions here. There's some speculation in this article because they kind of really didn't go into under the hood about how this is going to work. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, if they can pull this off, it could potentially be it could disrupt that whole industry.
Right. Yeah.
That's a big if.
Yeah.
That's a big if. But as we say many times in the show, we shall see.
Right.
But that's definitely worth mentioning on the show because I know we have a lot of gamers that do listen to our show. We appreciate that.
Sure.
I know I'm not a gamer. I know Bruce is our gamer, so I wish Bruce would have been here. So maybe we can kind of punt this off to next week, and if he's back, we can talk about it more.
Maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. Won't be. If you tune in next week, we won't be here.
No.
Sorry.
Now, also along with that rumor, but another rumor, and I don't know if it's so much a rumor as in it's a leak. So I guess you could say it's a rumor. But there is a leak that supposedly has detailed new iPhone designs.
Oh,
And one of those things, which
seems like have one of those, but every few weeks.
right, one of those things, to me, is not a big surprise. This would not be a major shakeup, in my opinion. The race to have the best camera will always be out there. There will always
Yes.
be a next whatever mobile phone camera. That's one of the holy grails of phones now. And it's always a moving target. And this individual believes that it is a 3 lens. They believe they have found the mounting, and where the new iPhone, which they say looks very similar to the current iPhone design, but it'll feature a triple lens, a new triple camera array.
Yeah.
So it'll have 3 physical.
We talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
Well, this is a leak.
It's going to be a square, like a.
Yeah, we did talk about
a
that.
square, like, protrusion. I guess,
We did
off
talk about that. We did. That's true.
because it's the 3 lenses and then the flash.
Yeah.
Triple
So
lens.
this is another. This is a leak.
I want to know when we're going to get the quadruple or 5, 6, 7, 8 lens. How about this little 10?
I want the 7.1 surround sound.
Yeah, that too.
I mean,
Well, this is
bounce it off the walls.
This is April Fool's here.
That's true. We should have come up with some April Fool's rumors.
We
If
should
we were
have.
smart enough, we would
I
have.
know. Have to wait till next year.
Just wait till next year. You never know.
The problem is, when will April 1st fall on our showtime again?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
That's
well.
true. It won't be. It won't be next year. Well, who knows? Be honest with you.
We
by
could-
then, I don't know. I really don't know. So
Yeah.
anyway, but that is our rumors for this week. And
Yeah.
you could always call in and give a rumor. You could call in about a rumor that you're going to call in. How about that? That would be amazing.
Ain't nobody listening to this right now. Anyway, let me talk about this real quick.
Yes, sir.
We've got a few minutes for the break. So I mentioned this several weeks ago that Verizon was getting ready to release a service to help block spam calls.
Yes.
So last Thursday, they actually announced the launch of their new free version of their call filter service that will identify, filter, and block incoming spam calls.
Right.
They've offered that for some time. You could pay $2.99 a month for this technology, but now they still have that $2.99 a month version, but they have a free version.
Huh.
So the call filter free offers spam detection, spam filter, and report numbers. That's there's like a list of features here. But that's the free version. Then if you want the $2.99 a month per line, you can get call filter, but it also includes caller ID, a personal spam list, a personal block list, a risk meter, and spam lookup. So for Verizon customers, a free call filtering option will provide alerts when an incoming call is likely a spam caller. It'll report unsolicited numbers, and if the option is selected, automatically block incoming robocalls. All Verizon's postpaid wireless customers with a compatible device are able to enroll, but the service is not available to prepaid customers. Verizon said that in addition to making the call filter free for all customers, it has made advancements towards blocking spoofed phone numbers. Stir/shaken technology will verify that the phone number displayed on the call ID is the phone number that has actually placed the call.
Right.
Verizon says the new call authentication standard will be deployed on the Verizon network in conjunction with other major carriers in the coming months. And there's a little quote here from,
I saw a headline
from
about
Verizon saying, this is the quote here: "Far too frequently, customers tell me they want relief from the bombardment of bothersome robocalls," said Rowan Dunn, president of Verizon's consumer unit. They go on to say, "I'm confident that the new free version of Call Filter and Stir/Shaken," those are in all caps, it must be like acronyms, but anyway, Stir/Shaken will put a big dent on the problem. And if you want to try the service out, Verizon customers who want to sign up can go through the Verizon website. The Call Filter app for iOS will need to be downloaded to unlock the full functionality. So I haven't done that yet, so I need to do that because I am a Verizon customer.
Yeah.
It's got like a little picture of a screenshot of a phone, like an Android device, but it's got like a little risk meter.
Right.
It says potential fraud, and then it's a little answer or don't answer. So I'll try to get this installed here, and maybe I can report back in 2 weeks when we're back on the air. But I mean, I think that's a good first step, and they're still keeping a more full featured. If you want the full, but at least you're getting something included. And I still think they're kind of getting ahead of the feds, because I think the feds are going to end up mandating this at some point sooner rather than later. Because robocalls are just getting way out of hand.
No, I know. I'll be interested to see what kind of dent this can put in there.
Yeah, and I'll be curious how well it works, because I do tend to get my fair share of of those unsolicited spam and robocalls.
What's bad about it is, and this is not particularly new, but now I'm noticing even more to my office phone.
Oh,
my work office phone, and I'm like,
I always get salespeople that call me. Sorry if you're a salesperson, but
no, this is
I don't make any purchasing decisions at my job.
Right, and I've gotten a few of those, but not very many.
Nor do I make purchasing decisions for the Hey Techie show, because Michael will not give me the Hey Techie's credit card.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting till the Apple Card comes out, so I can switch it to the Apple.
Is that
card.
what you're doing?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just waiting.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Maybe one day.
Yeah, right.
That's why you're getting all those calls at work. They're getting your numbers confused. They think it's 5600, and they're not.
Sure, that's
not.
it.
They're like, oh, they say Mikey, Chief Techie.
Yeah, I wish we could do a live call on the show, like call somebody and tell them they are live on the radio show, and like for instance,
You're talking about like some of these like people. Anyway, go ahead.
No, not really necessarily prank, but I would really like to call like the Social Security office and tell them, since the world only has 12 more years left, according to
You want to go ahead and start drawing your check?
Right, I want to go ahead and try to draw that.
Okay.
You know what?
Kind of draw what you've already been putting in?
Sure, right, because I don't want to lose any. I don't want to leave any on the table. And I feel like if I've only got 12 or less years left before the earth ends.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to solve that is the Green New Deal.
Yes. Oh, yes, it is. I'm sure it has already.
Yeah, we're going green.
I brought that up, folks, just so he'll get to play that tonight.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's why I did.
Yeah.
That was my whole point.
Oh,
and
thank you.
He got to play it tonight. Got his.
Have you played again?
No, not particularly. But yeah. Well, when the Hey Techie Show comes back, we'll have our last segment for this week, and we'll try to throw in all we haven't covered that we got here listed. Just a real fast. Just throw it all in there. Hey Techie Show. Welcome back into the Hey Techies show.
Well, you're not a zero if you listen to this show. You're
That's right. You're not
fantastic.
That's right. You're not a zero. Listen to this show.
That's right.
And
If you miss out, no, I don't know. But anyway,
trying to wrap up the show actually. So we
we got a few more minutes here. Got a couple things. You want to start? Or you want me to start?
Go ahead.
So this one I found this a couple weeks ago. So this is an older article, but headline: Google brings Wi-Fi equipped school buses to Alabama town. This is from the Alabama News Center. So, we've mentioned this well over a year ago. Google's building a $600 million data center in North Alabama, but Google's also, they've announced the launch of a rolling study hall program. And it's to, the initiative is bringing Wi-Fi to students with long commutes in 16 communities around the country. And one of the communities is right here close to home, Montford, Alabama. They're getting one of these, being part of this rolling study halls program.
Right.
So the Google is providing each school district with Wi-Fi through fully functional school buses, computers, and onboard educators for the buses. The company says the program helps students reclaim more than 1.5 million hours of learning that would otherwise be lost during long bus commutes. A quote from a spokesperson from Google said, "It is important for students everywhere to have access to the tools they need to learn every day."
Okay.
In Montford, 6 buses will become rolling study halls, allowing 240 students to access Wi-Fi on commutes between 45 minutes and 1 hour. So apparently, a couple weeks ago, Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth said that State Senator Jim McClendon joined Google to announce the program's arrival at Montford High School alongside students and administrators who will be using the outfitted buses daily during the 2018-2019 school year.
Well,
so there you go. I thought that's very cool. I mean, Google kind of giving back, and I mean, Google is huge in K-12 education right now.
Well, yeah,
with what they provide,
sure.
Basically free, unfettered.
Well, they got nothing to lose.
No, I mean, except your information. But
yeah, no, that is true.
Well, hopefully, because you're dealing with kids under 13, that they aren't. They have to be with the children's online protection and stuff. Another one real quick, so I might not get to all these, but Walmart is ending their savings catcher program.
Yeah,
that's one thing I highly acclaimed them when they first came out with it, because for those who don't know, they used to have a way with their app. You would go to the store and buy your stuff at Walmart. You would come home and scan the receipt, like the QR code or the little barcode,
right?
And they would go out and search for the low prices at competitors, and if a competitor had something lower price than what you bought at Walmart, Walmart would give you the difference back in like an e-gift card.
Correct.
You build up a little balance, and at any time you could basically cash it in to get a gift card, electronic gift card that you could use at Walmart.com or in the store.
Sure.
Basically, that was kind of before they before that they had ad match. So if somebody was advertising, you could come in with the ad and they would match the price. Well, then they ended ad match, did savings catcher. And then they changed Savings Catcher to where you had to use Walmart Pay, their electronic payment system, to use Savings Catcher.
Right.
Well, now they're getting rid of the program. They've just said, we're done. So this is a quote here from Walmart. "Since the introduction of the program, we've worked hard to lower prices on thousands of everyday items across our stores, which has resulted in our prices winning the vast majority of the time when you submit receipts to Savings Catcher. This tells us the program's intent has been met, which was to provide you upfront with everyday low prices so that you and your family can save money and live better."
Right.
So the last day, I'm not quoting now, but the last day for customers to submit a Walmart Pay e-receipt to Savings Catcher for processing will be May the 14th. So you still got a few weeks.
Yeah.
The balance of Savings Catcher e-gift cards will remain on the cards until customers choose to spend the money. So if you've got any kind of squirreled away, you still got it. So, but yeah, they're getting rid of it.
At Christmas, I had like $35 built up or something like that.
Yeah.
Was able to use last Christmas.
Yeah.
But maybe a little more than that.
I just think, you read between the lines there, they just don't want to spend the money on it. That's my opinion.
Right.
That's my editorialization of it. But
I think people were saving a lot of money too. And
yeah.
and actually, in a way, Walmart was doing all the work on their end. I mean, instead of you going to find out what, working to find out what you're saving.
But they went from ad matching.
Right.
They got rid of it. The Savings Catcher, I think they may have existed at the same time, but ad match went away. Savings Catcher, you had to use Walmart Pay.
Sure.
Now that's going away completely. So right now, if a competitor has a lower price, Walmart's like, put the hand up, talk to the hand. So
Right.
that's one thing that they did for many, many years is we were never, if somebody did beat us, like, we're going to make it right. Now there's no avenue unless you just go in there and, like, really complain and the manager does something. But, I mean, who's got time for that? That's just, But I do like pickup. And pickup is now available in Jacksonville. I forgot to mention that before,
that is right.
before our break.
That is
for
right.
spring break. But the Thursday, the 20, I guess that was the 21st.
Yes.
The Thursday prior to our spring break was the first day you could pick up orders with Walmart Pickup in Jacksonville.
Huh. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Actually, my wife mentioned that.
Yeah. And I did try it on the first day. I'm not a fan of the location, but, I mean,
Okay.
they didn't ask me my opinion. But, but I'm glad to see that's growing. That program is growing because I really do enjoy the pickup, so I don't have to go grocery shopping.
Right.
And it's a free service. I mean, you don't pay anything. You just have to have a $30 order.
Right.
So, I mean, must be working if they keep expanding it to other areas. And I got one more here.
By all means, I don't know that I've got anything left.
We'll do this one. Win the show on this one. So Apple apologizes over a, quote, small number, end quote, of users who continue to have issues with third-generation MacBook keyboards. We've talked about this on the show before, but
ad nauseum.
yes, ad nauseum. So some customers are still having issues, and in a statement, Apple spokesperson acknowledged the issues and apologized. Went on. The quote here is, "We are aware that a small number of users are still having issues with their third-generation Butterfly keyboard, and that we are sorry. The vast majority of Mac notebook customers are having a positive experience with the new keyboard." Apple added that affected customers should contact the company for support. Unfortunately, the Apple initiated a service program offering free repairs of affected 2015 and 2017 MacBook and 2016 to 2017 MacBook Pro models, first and second gen Butterfly keyboards, and the latest 2018 MacBook Pro and 2018 MacBook Air models with third generation do not qualify at this time. But what I say here, this is not from the article. This is my opinion. If you're having trouble, Apple is usually pretty good about making it right.
Right.
But I got some tips for you, Apple. Tim Cook, I know you're listening. The Butterfly keyboard's awful. Get rid of it. You're welcome.
So that's just Guru's thing. If you
keyboard just don't have enough travel on the keys. It's just awful. It's like typing on a hard surface. Anyway.
Right.
I
Well, the Hey Techie Show is going to have to call it an evening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
We appreciate it very much. And if you missed the show, you just call the tail end. You can catch all of it at heytechieshow.com. Hopefully see you in 2 weeks.